Hey everybody, Lakes Region Aquariums here. This is a 6-part guide of what to do when you are purchasing a fish. So this is going to help you out with buying a fish for the first time, or if you are looking to get a fish, or you just got into the aquarium hobby and you want to know a little bit of facts before you actually get a fish. This is going to help you out a little bit for sure. Number one is Recon, okay? So you're going to want to call around, ask these places. If you have found a certain fish in a magazine or online or something like that, and you're really interested in keeping that fish, then definitely call around and do a little bit of research, and even visit various fish stores, and always check the quality of those fish stores and the tanks, and see the situation that their tanks are in and what fish they have in stock. Number two is research. So research, you want to obviously do all your research on a fish before you actually get the fish, so you can keep it successfully and comfortably in your aquarium. And you want to be able to make sure that your tank is up to par with what that fish is requires really to thrive in. Number three would be testing your water. Definitely test out your tank's water, and make sure your tank is not, still cycling. Obviously, if you just set up an aquarium, you want to wait a little while before you actually get fish for that aquarium. That'll be a video for another time. But let's say you're ready to get that fish, your tank's been running for a little while. It's always good to get a water test done on your aquarium. You can usually go places to fish stores and get your water tested for free, and they'll let you know what's going on in your tank at home, and then from there you can determine if you are ready for that fish or not. Number four, you definitely want to ask about the fish. Let's say you go to a store and you have a rainbow fish, and they're in the store, and you really love that fish. You want to buy that fish. It looks really good in the store. Ask about the history of that fish. You want to know if in that store, if that fish has been dying off in the past. Like, let's say they got a huge order of them and they're all starting to die off, and before you get into the store, they usually fish out all the dead ones if they're really good. Sometimes they just let them float around. I'm sure you've seen them. But always ask the history of the fish. If that fish, if they have a person who you ask, if the person you ask is like, yeah, they've kind of been dying off the past couple weeks, so most of them have been dying, but a lot of them are swimming around just fine, I'd probably wait on that. If they tell you, oh, that fish has been alive for months, nobody's bought them, and they're doing really well, they're thriving, then definitely that's probably a good fish. So a lot of times you'll get a fish, you'll go to a fish store, and you might buy a fish that was a part of a bad batch of aquarium fish that came in through an order, and there'll probably be nothing wrong with your tank, but that fish will still die in your aquarium. Always ask questions about your fish. Usually fish stores, wherever you go, there's at least one designated fish person working the fish tank area. They always know their stuff. They're always really good at what they do. And just ask them questions. What do they recommend for the fish? What are they, what have they seen about that fish? What have the behaviors been about that fish in the tank? Maybe it's a bully and you haven't seen it long enough for you to realize it might be a little bit more on the fin nipping side or something like that. When it's finally time for you to get that fish, you want to ask for extra air in the bag, and make sure you are not doing your fish shopping before you go shopping at other places. You want, if you're going out to get a fish, you want to make sure that the fish is the last thing you get on your way home or something. So you don't want that thing chilling out in your car. It's super cold up here in New Hampshire right now, so the thing would just freeze in the car. If it's a super hot day, it wouldn't be good if you just let it sit in the car. But obviously, if you have more air in the bag, that increases the lifespan of how long that fish can really be in the bag. Let's say you have an hour until you get to the fish store, and then an hour back from the fish store, then that fish is going to be in that bag for quite some time. So always ask for extra air, and double bag them is always a good thing too. A lot of fish can poke holes in bags, and if you have an hour trip and you have a little hole in the bag, it's going to be a pretty crazy, stressful ride home for both you and the fish. And you don't really need a whole lot of water in the bag. I always go with about that much on most of my commutes when I'm hauling fish in different areas. Definitely, if you have a good amount of water, like a decent amount, and then a huge amount of air on top of that, that's usually a good way to transport your fish, just because it gives you more time. If you have a bag of water basically, and like this much air, the fish does not have long at all. It's not going to last long in the bag. So that's just a good tip for you to do. So those are my 6 tips. Those are all things that I do when I buy fish. It's all stuff that I've done for a long time now, and I've always gotten good results from it. I used to work in a fish store for a long time, so I know a lot about selling fish and what goes into it, and things you should probably know and things you should look out for. So I hope these help you out in the long run, and I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Let me know what recent fish you have added to your aquarium or fish you are looking to get for your aquarium. I would love to know. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have an awesome rest of the day.